This video is brought to you by Skillshare, the online learning community for creators. Have you seen Black Panther? I mean, probably, otherwise why would you be here? This video is all about Easter eggs and references from the film Black Panther, including characters, links to the comics, links to the MCU, hints towards the future of the universe, and a whole lot more. These are the topics that I'm going to cover. There's time codes in the description if you want to jump ahead to anything, so strap in. It's gonna be a wild ride. Well, you know, more of a mild ride. So just sit or stand. Standing is fine. It's gonna be a mild ride. Right, in this film we get an extended flashback for when T'Chaka was both King of Wakanda and the Black Panther. John Carney played the older version in this and Civil War, but the younger version was his real-life son, Atandwa Carney. M'Baku shows up as the leader of the Jabari tribe with a few significant changes from the comics. For one, in the comics, he's known as Man-Ape, but this was dropped to avoid racial implications, and he's also more of a Black Panther foe than he ends up being in this film. His tribe worship Hanuman, the white gorilla god, who's also friends with The Rock in that Rampage movie. Not really, but do you think that's going to be good? I mean, it's got a flying wolf with hands, but you know, I'm skeptical. M'Baku's comic book spear is also very similar to the weapons that Kilmonger is shipping out across the world. A lot of Kilmonger's origins also carry over from the comics, though they were never cousins. His father was exiled from Wakanda for aiding Klaw in stealing vibranium, meaning he and his family were considered outcasts. In both the comics and the film, Kilmonger grows resentful of Wakanda and wishes to rule it. Klaw is also translated fairly closely, minus his little safari hat. Also, he never puts on his funny red outfit. Also, he doesn't experience a series of events that leads to him turning into a being made of solid sound. Look, he's not that close, alright? But he does have a variation on his sonic arm cannon, except this time, it's inside a weird wibbly rubber arm. Bast is mentioned, the goddess followed by the Wakandans, and the wife of T'Chaka, Ramonda, in the comics is actually his third wife, and the stepmother of T'Challa and Shuri, though this was changed for the film version. But speaking of comics, let's talk about comics, the Black Panther comics. The heart-shaped herb that was introduced in this film operates in the same way that it does in the books, gifting the person who consumes it strength, speed, agility, really cool kicks, all of that. After T'Challa ingests it, he visits the afterlife and his ancestors. That's what looks like this universe's version of Dajalia, a realm where all the collective memories of Wakanda are stored. The necklace he turns down also, the gold one, he's worn that in the comics, but he's also worn the silver one. And he's also worn a leather trench coat, like it's the Matrix or something, I don't know. That moment where he takes down a rhino was ripped right from the comics, as was the moment where Kilmonger throws T'Challa over a waterfall. Kilmonger has also become the Black Panther before, and the design chosen here, with the leopard spots, looks to be a nod to his comic book pet, Prey. Also, he's a little bit fond of wearing masks in the comics also. The new version of the Black Panther suit also has runes on it. There was a period in Black Panther history where he moved away from vibranium-based technology and weapons and focused more on magic. These might be a nod to that, and maybe more magic is going to be explored in the future. This particular version of Black Panther and Wakanda draws influence from a number of comic creators. Specifically, there's parallels with Ta-Nehisi Coates' writing and hints of Jack Kirby in the design. This movie, though, leans heavily on Afrofuturism, and although that term was coined in the early 90s, you can trace its origins as far back as the 1950s. There's a few locations of note in this film. The whole thing opens up in Oakland for a couple of reasons. Director Ryan Coogler is from Oakland, and it's also the home of the Black Panther movement.
Sorry I had a fight in the middle of your Black Panther party.
Music also plays a massive role in Black Panther, with a soundtrack by Kendrick Lamar, which is also why it doesn't sound like a lot of generic Marvel scores. There's also a Public Enemy poster seen in the childhood home of Erik Kilmonger, and the song What Is Love is sung by Ulysses Klaw before his interrogation for reasons that are not clear, but boy, does it ever happen. This is an MCU film. And because of that, there are multiple links to previous films in the series. This entry in the timeline takes place very shortly after the events of Civil War, much like the film Spider-Man Homecoming, and also the film, I don't know, probably Thor Ragnarok. I mean, it's in space, so I don't really have any idea. Tying into Civil War is the appearance of Baron Zemo in a BBC News report that accurately pins the death of King T'Chaka on him. When Everett Ross is brought to Wakanda to cure his broken spine, come to think of it, that actually might come in handy for a certain other Marvel character. I'm just saying, I mean, robot legs are cool, but regular legs are also cool. Or, you know, maybe Tony Stark could just give him that thing that turns people into lava men and then they can grow back their arms or whatever. That's all I'm saying. Anyways, when he's brought in, Shuri makes mention of the fact that she's been handed another broken white boy to fix. Her first one being Bucky, who we'll talk about in a bit. Another character introduced in Civil War was Ayo. She's got an extensive comic backstory where she has a relationship with another Dora and a narrative that eventually leads her to becoming a Midnight Angel vigilante. Although Wakanda is first spoken of in Civil War, it was actually first hinted at in Iron Man 2. S.H.I.E.L.D. has clearly been keeping an eye on it, potentially even realizing that something must be up there. This movie is also tied into Age of Ultron. That's the film that introduces us to Andy Serkis's Klaw and his glory days of having 2 arms. His new arm cannon, though, is a vibranium mining tool that he's made some modifications to. It sounded to me a lot like Iron Man's repulsors when it charges up, meaning he could have blended some Stark and Wakandan technology, which wouldn't be hard to do, seeing as Tony Stark seems to lead that shit all over the place for anyone to pick up. Stan Lee, of course, makes an appearance as a Watcher informant, this time playing a man who offers to look after T'Challa's winnings at that casino in North Korea. Wait. Sorry, I mean South Korea. North Korea is the one where Kim Jong-un's sister is from. You know, that one who's been throwing shade at the Winter Olympics. Oh my god, that's awesome. Let's ignore the fact that she's from a family of total lunatics. And now a word from the sponsor of this video by the person who is speaking in this video. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of classes in design, filmmaking, editing, animation, writing, and a variety of topics you would not believe. Premium membership gives you unlimited access to high-quality classes on must-know topics, so you can improve your skills, unlock new opportunities, and do the work you love. For me, I'm in the very early stages of building a little home studio, so I'm giving video lighting on a shoestring budget a go, as well as story fundamentals to overcome my crippling fear of writing something and for it to be bad. Now you might think, wow, access to such fantastic classes could cost anywhere upwards of thousands, even tens of thousands of dollars. Well, you got the 10-bit right, but everything else is way off. It's less than $10 a month for annual subscriptions. And the first 1,000 people to sign up with the link in the description will get the first 2 months for a mere 99 cents. So just go to skl.sh/Mr. Sunday Movies or click on the link in the description. Also, I don't want to panic anybody, but in the corner there, that's a live counter of people signing up like right now. So, you know, you better hurry up. Look, it's not really, that's not how YouTube works, but still get in quick, probably. The Easter eggs in this movie, though, they extend beyond that of this universe and into other films and real life memes that will almost certainly age well. Young Forrest Whitaker says when the Dora Milaje knock on the door that some Grace Jones looking women are outside. Grace Jones being the Jamaican-born singer, model, and actor who came to prominence in the 80s. Back to the Future was also referenced as an old American movie that T'Chaka loved watching, and there's a nod to this specific moment from Back to the Future 2 and how she modeled T'Challa's new shoes off this. That then leads into this meme. Good stuff. I just hope we can get a damn Daniel worked into Avengers Infinity War. That seems very timely. This movie also seems to take a lot of cues from James Bond. Yes, that's a great joke. Thank you very much. Shuri acts as an MCU version of Q, inventing and demonstrating the new Black Panther tech. The end credits also looks like a homage to classic James Bond title sequences. Shuri also tells Everett Ross that he's in Kansas, a nod to the Wizard of Oz, and this movie also features the on-screen reunion of Andy Serkis and Martin Freeman for the first time since that not very good Hobbit trilogy. What Marvel film, though, would be complete without a post-credits scene? I mean, all of them, really. I think we all still understood the goings-on of Thor: The Dark World without that giant cat moment. Black Panther, though, it's got 2. The first one feeling like it could have just sat at the end of the movie. T'Challa reveals to the world that Wakanda is ready to share its resources and knowledge, and some guy's like, hey, we all thought Wakanda was like full of goat farmers and it's like not a very good place. And T'Challa's like, well, I have a bulletproof catsuit that says otherwise. There's also a line about how the wise build bridges whilst the foolish build barriers. which I can't help feel is a nod to the good work done at Fitzgerald Construction, an Australian-based company that specialises in bridge building in addition to marine, transport, and infrastructure shaping. Sure, it's an odd reference for a Marvel film, but I honestly can't think of any other relevant real-world parallels. We also see Bucky again for the first time since Civil War. He's all fixed up, minus the arm, and he's also referred to as the White Wolf. The White Wolf was a different character in the comics who survived a plane crash that his parents were killed in near Wakanda, and he was raised as one of them. A good way to wrap this up, I feel, is the hints towards the future of the MCU. Now, even though this film feels very much like its own self-contained story, it's still part of a larger narrative. Shuri is, at the moment, technically next in line to become ruler of Wakanda and the Black Panther. There's a fair chance that this might happen down the line, seeing as it has happened in the comics, just like how we'll probably see someone else taking on the mantle of Captain America in the near future. Nakia is also somewhat of a villainous character in the comics, which we really didn't get any hints towards. She becomes obsessed with T'Challa and is eventually exiled from Wakanda. She then becomes a supervillain, Malice. The next film is also, of course, Infinity War. That's going to see the return of Bucky, as mentioned, but we also know that an alien battle is going to take place at Wakanda, where Captain America is also going to get his new shield. Seeing as we haven't seen it yet, I'd say there's a fair chance that the final Infinity Stone is in Wakanda, and that's why it's being invaded. The Wakandans seem to have a strong connection to the afterlife, so that could be a hint towards the Soul Stone being located there. But do you have any favorite Easter eggs or references from Black Panther, or even a theory about the future of the MCU? If you do, please feel free to leave it below. Also, there's videos here every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday, so subscribe if you like. And if you want a little bit more Black Panther, the latest episode of Caravan of Garbage, a series on my channel, takes a look at a Black Panther origin story from the Fantastic Four cartoon from the 90s. It's got so many elements that you might recognize from the Black Panther mythos, except done excruciatingly worse. Also, this Monday on my podcast, The Weekly Planet, we're doing an in-depth spoiler review of Black Panther. The good, the bad, all of it. That's linked below along with everything else. But you can also find everything I mentioned compiled at planetbroadcasting.com. Check it out if you want. But thanks for watching this. I appreciate it. Take care.